A very good afternoon to all my dear students. Today we are going to start with the next lecture on Andrecium in morphology of flowers. I am Dr. Rajendra Shevde, HOD, Department of Botany, Arts, Commerce and Science College, Lanza. I welcome all students for the presentation of Andrecium Part 2. Let's start with the lectures. Attachment of the anthers to the filament. The mode of attachment of the anther to the filament varies. It is adnate when the filament or its continuation, that is connective, appears to be attached throughout the whole length of back of the anther, as seen in magnolia and water lily. In mustard or carex and other members of Cyperaceae, the filament ends just at the base of the anther, the latter being firmly fixed on the top of the former. This condition is called as basifixed or innate. The attachment is dorsifixed when the filament is firmly fixed to some position on the back of anther, as in passion flower, Sesbania. And in most grasses and in many like lilies, the attachment is versatile, where the filament is attached merely at a point about the middle of the connective, so that the anther can swing on it freely. Here is the diagram which shows 4 different types of attachment of anthers. The first one is adnate, that is nothing but the axis of the filament is continuous. The other one is B, basifix, that means at the base of the anther lobes the filament is attached. C, that is dorsifix, where the filament is attached on the dorsal side. And last, that is D, which is versatile, where the attachment is on the back side, but the both anther lobes are freely moving. It is found in Gramini members. Now let's see what is dehiscence of anthers. When the anthers become ripe, they burst, discharging the dry pollen. This act is called as dehiscence, and the time when this takes place is called as anthesis. So, dehiscence is nothing but the release of the pollen or pollen grains from the ripe anther lobes, and the act when the dehiscence occur is called as anthesis. So, dehiscence may be of different types. What are those? The first one is longitudinal. This is the common type of dehiscence when the anther lobes burst along the longitudinal suture, that is the line of fusion of two pollen chambers in two anther lobes, as may be seen in Datura. Second one is transverse. It is seen in some unilocular anthers as those of Malvaceae. It appears to be transverse as the suture is placed in that way. Third one is porous or apical. The discharge of pollen is through apical processes seen in potato, brinjal and members of Solanaceae. And lastly, fourth one is valvular, when the whole or the portion of the wall of anther open out like trapdoors, releasing the pollen as in berberis, laurus and cinnamomum. This is the diagram which shows the dehiscence of anther. The first one is longitudinal, where we can see along the line of the axis of the filament or the anther lobe, it deices. In case of the transverse, that is the B, it is found in Malvaceae. It is along the suture, which is transverse. In porous, that is C, we can see it is not along the axis but side by side. So it is porous. And lastly, the valvular, which is found in Laurus. So these are the 4 different types of dehiscence of anthers. Now, number and insertion of stamens. A flower may be monandrous, poinsettia, diandrous in Acanthaceae member, triandrous, many monocots, tetrandrous, Labaceae member, pentandrous, most dicots, hexandrous like rice, bamboo, etc. or polyandrous in Rosaceae, according as the usual number of stamens in the flower, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or many. The number of stamens, however, may sometimes vary as discussed later. Now, depending upon the number of stamens, it is been classified into monandrous, mono means 1, diandrous, di means 2, triandrous, tri means 3, tetrandrous, tetra means 4, pentandrous, penta means 5, hexandrous, hexa means 6 and polyandrous, poly means many. So, let us see what are the other things. When the stamens form a single whorl and the number of stamen is the same as that of the sepals and petals. For example, if a flower having 5 sepals, 5 petals, the whorl of stamens will be 1 with 5 numbers. So, the flower is said as isostaminous. The flower is said to be isostaminous. In such a flower, the stamens alternate with the petals. Always keep in mind, if the calyx, corolla and androecium are of same number, the flower is said to be isostaminous, but the flower is in the stamens are alternate with petals, that is, they are antisepalous, not antipetalous. Fine. Occasionally, however, such stamens may be antipetalous, as found in different members of Rhamnaceae, Poectulaceae, etc. Sometimes there are 2 whorls of stamen, the first whorl alternating with the petals, that is antisepalous, and a second whorl alternating with the sepals, so antipetalous. This type of flower is termed as diplostaminous. Listen, if the stamens are found in different members, they show the antipetalous, but sometimes they are found in 2 whorls. The one which is alternating with petals, antisepalous, alternating with petals, antipetalous. Then this type of flowers are called as diplostaminous. Whereas the third condition is seen in some Rutaceae members, where there are 2 whorls of stamens, of which the first whorl is antipetalous and the second one is antisepalous. This condition is described as obdiplostaminous. Obdiplostaminous. So these are the very peculiar characteristics of arrangement of stamens. Like other floral members, stamens also may be epigynous, perigynous or hypogynous in their insertion on the thalamus. Of course, when the word is being used as epigynous, perigynous and hypogynous, that means arrangement of the stamens may be below the ovary, not above, not below and above the ovary. So this is what the number and insertion of stamens. The stamens in an androecium may not be of the same length. This is another characteristic of stamens. The two conditions are rather common. What are those? Let's see. One, in the family Cruciferae, this is a family of mustard, there are 6 stamens, of which the 4 in the inner whorl are taller than the 2 in the outer whorl. This condition is termed as tetradynamus. Listen to this word tetradynamus, because 4 are taller than other 2 which are smaller. These 2 are outer, the 4 which are taller are inner. Similarly, it is didynamous. Didynamous, 1 out of 4 stamens present, 2 are longer than the other 2. This is found in Labiatae and allied families of Acanthaceae, Verbenaceae, Scrophulariaceae. Presence of stamens of different sizes in the same whorl, as often seen in cassia flower, is known as heterostemony. Presence of different size in the same whorl, that means stamens are of different size. Every stamen is of different size seen in cassia flower, which is known as heterostemony. Now here we can see what are tetradynamous stamens in mustard on the left side, figure 352, and didynamous, that is stamens found in Leonorus, that is on the left side, figure number 353. Now, most important part, union of stamens. Union of stamens may involve adhesion, that is union with other members like petals, perianth, leaves, or gynoecium, or cohesion, that is among the stamens themselves. That means, now stamens are of 2 parts, filament and antherlobe. If the whole stamen unites with the other members of the flower like petals, sepals, leaves, perianth and gynoecium, if that condition found, then it is called as adhesion. But if the stamens among themselves, means the filament may be united or antherlobe be united, or both filaments and antherlobes are united, then that condition is called as cohesion. When the stamens adhere to petals, they are termed epipetalous, a condition found in many flowers. That means if stamens are arranged on petals. When the adherence is to perianth leaves, the condition is termed epiphyllous, as seen in the tuberose. If the perianth stamens are attached to perianth, then that condition is called as epiphyllous. Another interesting adhesion is between stamens and carpels. This is a very peculiar characteristic called as gynandrous condition, which is seen in the gynosporidium of Asclepiadaceae family member, that is Calotropis, and gynostemium. Now this is another word which is used for Orchidaceae member. There are 2 words, gynostagium and gynostemium. These 2 words are used for 2 different family members, gynostagium for Asclepiadaceae and gynostemium for Orchidaceae member. Now this is the very interesting condition of adhesion where the stamens and carpels, that means there is a union of androecium and gynoecium. Here we can see epipetalous stamens in brinjal, where we can see clearly stamens are attached to the petals, and the second one which is shown in figure 355, that is gynostegium in Calotropis, which is commonly called as rui, where we can see the stigma is present, anther is also there, and a staminal corona is there. Cohesion is usually involves either only the filaments, that means there is only union of the filaments, not anthers, that is called as Adolphi, or only the anthers, not filaments, then it is called as syngeny. In Adolphi, all the stamens may unite by their filaments, forming one bundle of stamens with all the anthers which are free. This is the monoadolphous condition. Now, monoadolphous condition means all the filaments are united to form a single bundle. Then that kind of union is called as Adolphi, and if they are forming single bundle, then it is called as monoadolphous condition. In the family Malvaceae and many other flowers, the united filaments form a staminal tube through which the long style of the pistil passes. This is an example of hibiscus. In Oxalis also shows a similar staminal tube in which few stamens are clearly unequal. In unisexual flowers, female flowers of Jatropha euphorbiaceae, the filament unite to form a central column. Now, diadelphi, two bundles. It is very commonly seen in Papilionaceous flower, that is Papilionaceae family member, where 9 stamens form one bundle and the 10th remains the free as the second bundle. So there are number of stamens are 10, of which 9 are united to form one bundle, whereas the second 9th, that is 10th one, remains the free, forming the second bundle. So in the silk cotton tree, that is Salamalia or Bombaxiba, the stamens form several separate groups with the filaments uniting to form several bundles or fascicles, giving rise to the polyadolphate condition. This is often seen in the families of Guttiferae, Teliaceae, Bombaceae, Rutaceae, best example is orange, Myrtaceae, that is Melaleuca, that is the example of Myrtaceae. Now the diagram we can see, the first figure shows the monoadolphous condition, first, second and third. First and second shows the monoadolphous condition. The second one shows the diadolphous condition, where one is separated and the 9 united to form the another bundle. And the figure A, B, C are the showing the polyadolphous conditions. When the stamens unite only by the anthers, leaving the filament free. Earlier condition was that the stamens were united and the anthers were free. There were 3 types: monoadolphous, diadolphous and polyadolphous. Now here is the condition is different, that anthers are united, leaving the filaments free. The condition is termed as syngenesis. The condition is termed as syngenesis. This is characteristically shown by the family Compositae. Here, the syngenesis anthers form a tube enclosing the style and a stigma. In Compositae, the syngenesis stamens are also epipetalous. In the family Cucurbitaceae, of 5 stamens, 4 unite in a pair so that the androecium shows 3 bundles. Now see, in Cucurbitaceae, 5 stamens, 4 unite in pairs so that androecium shows 3 bundles, means 2 plus 2 plus remaining 1. Each composite structure of 2 stamens shows complete union of filaments as well as the cyanous anthers. This is called as synandrous condition. Now listen carefully. In Cucurbita, there are how many stamens are there? 5, of which two unite to form a pair. The two pairs are formed and one remains single. The composite structure of two stamens which are united shows the complete union of the filament as well as the sinus anther. So, this whole condition 2 plus 2 plus 1 is called as synandrous condition. Now, in this diagram you can see the first one, that is figure number 360. Here the anther lobes are united where filaments are free. This condition is called as what? Syngenesis. It is found in compositive members. On the right side, it is the union of stamens, 5 stamens and 2 plus 2 plus 1. This called as synandrous condition found in Cucurbitaceae family. So this is about the androecium. This is the part 2. Here we complete the study of androecium and its types, its union, adhesion and cohesion. So I hope you must have studied properly. I request all students to go through the video, learn it and study it well. If you found any question or query, please do reply and WhatsApp me so I can clarify it. With this we have completed morphology of flower, starting with the calyx, then corolla and then androecium. In next lecture we will be studying the first part of the fourth whole member of in morphology of flower, that is gynoecium. So thank you very much for listening to video. Thank you so much.